All right, so,
Eric Murphy here.
oh, you're online?
He is here.
I am online.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm en route, be there in a couple minutes, but I am online.
Okay. So,
I'm also here on, I don't know if you guys already call Kristen's Child Project. This is Roberto from PLJ Carpentry.
oh, okay, yeah. Well, we're gonna go through the continuances and we have a withdrawal without prejudice first. So we have 2613 SF LLC, the petitioner is seeking a special permit in accordance with 305-808-0 and 305-1010 of the Marshfield Municipal Code to allow for the reduction of the size of the parking spaces to 9 feet by 18 feet length and width on the property located at 745 Webster Street, which is further identified on the assessor's maps as being on parcel I-060214, located adjacent to 755 Webster Street, street parcel 1060268, 06A. It's located in the B1 zoning district. So they have asked to continue to what date, Andrew?
The next hearing, to the 24th.
So 3/24. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Stephen Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
What's that echo?
Eric Murphy, aye.
So then we have 2549 Mill Pond Realty Trust, 835 Plain Street. So Bob and I met with them. They're looking to write a new zoning bylaw that would accommodate up to 5 uses in the I district, 5 principal uses in the I district. So they have asked to extend until August. That's when the warrant opens for the fall meeting. So August 30th, I guess, 31st.
The warrant typically opens in the second week of August.
All right.
I would say either the, you know.
Oh, August 1st,
The
or
first,
beyond.
the first week of August, so that
Okay.
they can present it to the board
The
prior
board,
to the.
right, prior to they
opening.
go in there. All right, so we'll do the first week of August.
Or the first meeting in August.
Second.
It should be August 11th.
It may be the only meeting in August.
Oh, it should be, so August 11th.
Do we have an extension of time too, for, because it's a variance case?
Yeah, they did whatever they sent in. Did you see that?
We have 100 days to act on the
Yeah.
variance
What
request.
is that echo that we have?
It's because the whole room lights up. All right, so we're going to move them to August 11th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Discussion?
Second.
Discussion.
Oh, discussion.
So ordinarily, I would never vote for this because this is going on too long with this project and this address. However, because of all the people that have businesses there, this is an exception that I would be willing to go along with, because we're not going to put everyone out of business there. It's been going on for a long, long time, 30 or 40 years, and that place should be rezoned for multiple use. So in that case, I would vote for it. Otherwise, I would not.
Thank you, Steve.
Just wanted to clarify that.
So we're going to
Brian,
extend,
I
It's a
would.
slippery slope to go down this
Yeah,
road.
And in that vein, I think it might be wise to also make a caveat, because this has been going on for a long time, as you know, right? So it's been being postponed, and I've written this notice of violation over a year ago. And it had been continuing to grow and grow and grow even before that through COVID and whatnot. So I think that there should be some sort of condition that they cannot go any further, do any more paving, do any more filling, do any more development whatsoever on that property until, and they need to develop, they need to focus all of their efforts on getting this bylaw written and bringing their
Site
lot into compliance, not only with the current site plan approval and special permit that's active on their property from, whenever it was, but just coming into compliance with just the fact that they've.
So no more,
allowed the entire property to be
construction or any,
oversight.
so no more activity on that property that's
Yeah,
not.
there should be, and it should be just, my cease and desist order should be reinforced by the ZBA, because I feel like they've just continued to push, and we keep pushing back these hearings and everything else.
Okay.
Could
I
we
agree
put it
with
that, could we put it that there'd be no increase in the intensity of the business that's being there? that we're not restricting what they already have there.
Should be no change in use over existing conditions in any manner.
Bob's language is adopted. All right, so.
So you want to discuss
August
that?
11th.
Do you want to discuss that?
Oh, go ahead.
So, to reaffirm Andrew, we have to make it clear to everyone when Andrew writes a citation that it's for real and that we will back it up if it's legitimate. So, yes, I'm on board with what Andrew said.
Again, thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome.
So, as I said earlier, we're going to continue to August 11th, 2026, with the conditions that Bob had being,
I'm sorry, that was August 11th? you
August
said?
11th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Rob Hensley, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Okay, now we have 2570 Drusopoulos family, 239 through 287 Ocean Street. They have asked to extend till when, Andrew?
They believe they've requested to the March 24th.
March 24th.
Second.
All in
We're
favor?
gonna talk about this?
Oh, go ahead. Steve wants to talk.
So, I think we've had enough continuances on this project. People have come out to be able to speak on this. And, no, I'm not in favor of doing that myself. If they want to withdraw it with prejudice, I would go for that. But I think we should listen to what they have to say, close the hearing, and vote on it.
Bob, did they send us any language that we need to extend this?
I know Andrew was having communications with them today, and my understanding is they asked for continuance. And I wrote back to Andrew and told him that not only will they have to continue, but they'll need to give an extension of time. But again, whether you continue is really up to your board.
Right, so, but did they put in for the extension of, I mean,
I
did they
think
give
they
us the
did subsequently
extension?
write Andrew a letter.
They wrote me an email, I asked for a letter,
All right.
so I expect that.
Does anyone else have something to say on this?
Yeah, I would tend to agree with Steve. This is a major project. They have a huge investment there, so I myself will go for continuance tonight, but this has got to come forward.
Well, it's the next meeting, so.
Yep.
Anyone else, you guys out there and have anything to say? Grover, oh, you're here.
I know these things are, complex, and we've got a lot of issues, special permits, variances, site plan approval, there's a lot going on here. I don't actually mind having more time to make sure that we're getting the right information and the right inputs as we continue to do so. So I'm in favor of the continuance.
Okay,
I agree with Mac, thank you.
all right. All right, so the voting members
If the
on
board's
this.
going to do it, you should indicate no further continuances.
Yeah, that's gonna be added into this. So I'm gonna move that we continue 2570 Drusopoulos family, 239 through 287 Ocean Street to 324. That's it. They don't get any more continuances after that. So do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, no.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Rob Hensley, aye.
So the voting members on that would be
Eric.
Larry, Steve, myself, Gene, and Grover. All right,
And Eric is
Eric's
standing, is that correct?
Yeah, yes. All right, so now we just have a withdrawal without prejudice. 2608, Joseph and Lisa Lacasse, 102 Genevieve Lane, have requested to withdraw without prejudice. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Rob Hensley, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
All right, so that's the regular board.
Yep, they're gonna design it so that it complies
Okay.
completely.
Now we can get to the hearings. So we have 2611, Kristen Child. Come on up to the, sit up.
Can he sit up here?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. The petitioner is seeking a special permit in accordance with 305-902 and 305-1012 of the Marshfield Municipal Code to construct a 16-foot by 20-foot, three-season room addition and 10-foot by 10-foot open deck to the existing non-conforming structure on the property located at 49 Stephen Road, which is further identified on the assessor's maps as being parcel L052802 and is located in the R3 zoning district. Name and address.
Brian Child, 49 Stephen Road.
Christian Child, 49 Stephen Road.
And it's your guy,
Roberto's,
Roberto, can you just identify
Yeah,
yourself?
I'm here online.
Yes.
Okay, we see you. Just identify yourself.
My name is Roberto. I work with BOJ Carpentry. I'm the contractor. They're working
Okay.
with Christian Child in his harvest.
So go ahead.
All right, so we are planning to do an addition with the deck. I know, as you guys said, that it is a 16 by 20 covered area with the exterior deck open area, which is going to be a 10 by 10. It's going to be an addition, a traditional one over sonotubes or diamond piers. And yeah, that's pretty much it. New roof, walls, windows, on the addition as well, all the plans that you guys can see that we submitted for you. Skylights.
All right. Andrew, other than,
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like Roberto was saying, the actual addition is not on any part of the non-conforming house. The non-conformity is back on the 13.5 side lot line. So the new addition and the deck will conform with the actual bylaw. It's just that the
Yep.
structure itself is non-conforming.
okay. Any questions from the board? The audience? Seeing that there's none, I'm going to move that we close 2611 Kristen Child, 49 Stephen Road. Second?
Second,
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Act Brothers, aye.
You're not on this one?
Rob Hensley, aye.
I
Thank you.
don't know he's here.
Eric Murphy, aye. I was just waiting for them.
Oh, you got to open up your mic.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Okay, all right.
Wait, I was waiting for the other two on Zoom to.
Well, then you're here now.
Sorry, Eric, I didn't see you pop
No, that's
back
all
in.
right. He's here now, so.
He popped in.
All right, now I'm going to move that the board vote to grant the petitioner's application for special permit, subject to the conditions. They just need a building permit and anything else?
Building permit, final as-built, and certificate of occupancy. Same.
Okay,
And no shed,
yeah.
shed on this one?
The shed, we're not endorsing the shed. So subject to conditions, building permit, final, an as-built, and an occupancy permit. Based on the finding that the applicant's proposal to construct a 16 by 20-foot three-season room addition and a 10 by 10 open deck to the existing non-conformings as shown on the framing and elevation plan, the three-season room with 10 by 10 deck, picture prepared by PLJ Carpentry, not dated, 2 pages, and a plot plan of Marshfield, Mass. Dated December 18th, 2025, prepared by Webby Engineering Associates Incorporated, Joseph E. Webby Jr., PLS. Meets the special permit criteria of section 902 and 10.12 of the bylaws. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Act Brothers, aye.
Rob Hensley, aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yay,
You're all set.
thank you.
All right, thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
So now we have 2612, Mark Bossy. The petitioner is seeking a special permit in accordance with 305-1103 and 305-1010 of the Marshfield Municipal Code to allow fill in excess of 500 cubic yards and within an area greater than 10,000 square feet to be brought on the site for the construction of a new pool, house, pool, sport court, and landscaping at 1222 South River Street. which is further identified on the assessor's maps as being on parcel 1130818, is located in the R1 zoning district. Name and address for the record.
Mark Bossy, 196 Central Ave.
Okay. Go ahead.
Paul's going to talk. Paul's on.
Hello, can you see me? I'm on Zoom here.
No, we can't see anything.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, I have my video started, but you can hear my voice.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can see you.
All right, well, I'm Paul Louderback with Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors, and I worked on this project with our PE Dana Altabello here. It's for the approval of a special permit to allow fill in excess of 500 cubic yards and within an area greater than 10,000 square feet brought into the site for construction of a new pool house, pool, sport court, and landscaping at the 1222 South River Street, associated with the detached dwelling and septic system that's currently under construction. The project has been granted an order of conditions from Conservation Commission. Everything you see on the site plan has been approved by Concom with an order of conditions. The Board of Health has approved the septic designs on everything you see on the plan. And the dwelling is currently under construction. The foundation's there, the septic system in front of the house is there. Now, we're asking for the special permit to allow the fill to be able to grade up from the property lines up to the proposed pool house, the grass play area for Mark's children, and there's a sport court in front near an existing detached garage up front. Now, there's a view easement, which we're gonna follow the rules and regulations on not going over 4 feet fill in the view easement. There's a view easement line. You can see where we've designed the grading not to go exceed 4 feet in that area. And then we've also addressed drainage. We have a couple dry wells there, picking up all the roof runoff from the proposed structure. There's a couple dry wells. And for the property line to the north of the property, you can see there's a swale there that would pick up some of the small amount of runoff that would kind of run down the edge of the property, stopping any water that would be running to that property to the north. So we're asking for the ZBA to grant the special permit in accordance with 305-11.01. We've reviewed the A through J rules and regulations and feel the plan complies to everything that's in your rules and regulations there. If there's
Thank
any
you.
questions or comments?
Nope. So obviously, no one has any questions?
I have one small question. It's just,
Sure.
it's hard for me to determine, but what's the slope ratio from the
Yes, it's.
the southern
well,
part,
it's,
part of that pool house to the wetlands?
It's less than 2 to 1.
Okay.
There was a rule that we made sure we followed on the grading there. Let me see.
It just didn't have that actual measurement of the distance between the two. I've got the gradient, but I don't have the distance, so.
Yeah, they're 2-foot contours.
Yeah, I got that, but I don't have the actual physical distance between that and the wetland,
Well, from the
to the red line.
end of the grading down to the wetland?
Yeah,
Well, the red silt sock is 50 feet.
okay,
We can't go into the 50-foot buffer zone, so we set that, so we graded to the existing, to meet existing at the 50-foot buffer.
okay. That's what I needed, just needed that measurement.
Yeah, then the Concom required Concom posts to be set along that 50-foot buffer, not to disturb. You can see the post up there
Yeah,
requested that.
I saw that.
All right, so any other questions? Seeing that there's none, I'm going to move that we close 2612 Mark Bossy, 1222 South River Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Ryan Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Rob Van aye.
All right, so now,
I just have a comment.
sure.
So I know that it doesn't matter as far as the permitting and the appeal, but again, I do believe you're supposed to come to us before you go to conservation. Is that correct? Am I wrong on that, Andrew?
Pardon me?
Aren't you supposed to get ZBA approval before you go to conservation?
Yeah, technically, according to Mass General Law and their own regulations, you're supposed to get all obtainable permits, including zoning, special permits, or variances before filing a notice of intent. The applicant can choose to waive that. I don't necessarily know if they go through a specific process of doing that in our Conservation Commission or not.
Okay, I mean, I don't, I guess it doesn't make a real big difference, but if that is the law, we should try to get our applicants to
Steve,
do
it's
it.
it's actually a conservation regulation, and it's in the state regulations. So if the Conservation Commission doesn't insist on it, they get jammed up.
Okay.
But it's actually a conservation regulation.
But they are supposed to
Make
come
sure
here
that
first, though,
everything
right?
worked there before we
Yeah, but
started
if
figuring out the grading.
If the
That's-
We wanted
Conservation
to make sure
Commission,
Concom was okay with where we were putting all the pieces, and then we determined the
That's
grading.
okay, we understand that.
Alright.
Steve's
It's
making
not
a
interfering with how I'm voting, I'm just saying that if we have a process we're supposed to follow, we should try to get our applicants to follow it, right?
I mean, the Conservation Commission has the right to say, you've got to go get all other attainable permits before you come to us.
So that initiative should have been taken at conservation.
It is
It's a
taken.
conservation issue.
But they didn't do that. They didn't hear that. They
Okay.
didn't- Clearly didn't.
All
tell
right,
the
I'm
applicant.
all right, I just wanted to mention it.
Yep.
All right, I move that the board vote to grant the petitioner's application for a special permit, subject to the conditions, need a building permit and a site plan. Ready to hand with
There's
this?
there's some additional conditions you might want to consider too. I put them in the memo.
In the memo. Well, underneath those, need to explain.
I mean, you might want, if there's any material tracked off-site, you might want it to be cleaned up. You might want to establish some hours. I mean, it's.
Go ahead, I'll adopt whatever you're saying.
Well, there's some that you don't know,
Good
but
job.
when it's all done, the bylaw requires 4 inches of topsoil on top, which you're probably putting on anyways, but.
Right. What Bob said. Based on the finding that the applicant's proposal to fill in excess of 500 cubic yards and within an area greater than 10,000 square feet to be brought on the site for the construction of new pool house, pool, sport court, and landscaping at 1222 South River Street, as shown on a septic design plan dated July 21st, 2025 by Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors. Dan Altabello, P.E., 2 pages, meets the special permit criteria of section 1010 and 1103 of the bylaw. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Robert Hensley, aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
So we have Keith Monahan. Are you here?
Yes, sir.
So,
Good afternoon.
2614 Keith Monahan, the petitioner is seeking a special permit in accordance with 305-902, 305-1012 of the Marshfield Municipal Code to allow for the alteration and extension of a non-conforming structure by enclosing the existing 10-foot 6 by 18-foot carport and converting it into a habitable bedroom and bathroom on the property located at 7 Everson Road, which is further identified on the assessor's maps as being on parcel L091313, is located in the R3 zoning district and the floodplain zoning overlay district. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, you summed it up, but yeah, basically, we have a carport right now. It's an existing carport with, and then you enter the house into a den at the end of the carport, and we're looking to enclose the carport and make it a bedroom and a bathroom, and then renovate the, most of the rest of the first floor. We're basically removing it, it was a galley kitchen, so we're gonna open up the kitchen into what was the bedroom. And we're going to put a wall up in the front part inside the house to make a bedroom, and then now this bedroom in the carport with a bathroom. So we'll be adding a bedroom and a bathroom. And it'll be on, and it'll be on sonotubes or piers similar to the, one of the previous applicants. I believe it's gonna be four sonotubes.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Andrew, you have anything to add?
Not more than I put in my notes.
Okay. So I'm going to move that we close 26-14 Keith Monahan, 7 Everson Road.
Can you just have them submit a copy of their deed so we have it for the file?
Oh, we need you to submit a copy of your deed, okay?
You can still close it, but just have them submit a copy of the deed for the file.
All right?
Okay, absolutely, yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. So I'm going to move to close 26-14 Keith Monahan, 7 Everson Road. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Robert Hensley, aye.
All right, I'm going to move that the board vote to grant the petitioner's application for a special permit, subject to the conditions. We need the deed and Andrew, building permit, site plan.
Compliance with the floodplain
Compliance
bylaw,
with the floodplain bylaw.
building permit, final
That one.
as-built, and certificate of occupancy.
All right, I got them, certificate of occupancy. So, based on the finding that the applicant's proposal to alter and extend the non-conforming structure by enclosing a 10-foot 6 by 18-foot carport and converting it into habitable space, bedroom and bathroom on the property located on 7 Everson Road as shown on architectural and floor plans entitled Existing Single-Family Home Renovation and Addition, 7 Everson Road, Marshfield, dated January 31st, 2026, by Lighthouse Architecture and Design. 8 pages, and a plot plan, 7 Everson Road, Marshfield, Mass., dated December 31st, 2025, Land Survey Company, LLC, Michael P. McGuire, PLS, showing enclosure of the carport, meets the special permit criteria of sections 902 and 1012 of the bylaw. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Robert Hensley, aye.
Okay, you're all set? Thank you. You're all set.
Thank you, folks, appreciate it, have a good night.
Thank you.
All the best.
All right, now we have 2615 Zero Commerce Way LLC. Petitioner is seeking site plan approval in accordance with 305-1202 of Marshfield Municipal Code for the construction of a proposed 200 by 200 foot, 40,000 square foot building with a permitted wholesale, transportation, and industrial use, number 3, construction industry, including suppliers, and a permitted accessory use, number 8, accessory outside storage clearly necessary for the operation and conduct of a permitted principal wholesale, transportation, industrial, and/or commercial use. The property is located at 0 Commerce Way, which is further identified on the assessor's maps as being on parcel D0901-336A and is located in the I-1 zoning district, plan mixed-use district. Go ahead.
Thank
Name and
you.
address for the record.
Rick Grady from Grady Consulting, 71 Evergreen Street, Kingston, along with Josh Berman and Rick Holstein. As you had mentioned, this is a property located at 0 Commerce Way in the I-1 zoning district. The applicant is proposing the construction of a construction industry use with accessory outside storage. I understand this site was permitted a couple of different times for other uses. It's actually partially constructed now with some pavement, some utilities. I think a solar project may have been the last thing that came before the board many years ago on this.
Yes, it is.
So everything's kind of overgrown since then. From the street, you really can't even tell what's there, but they do have some utilities in there and some pavement. They're proposing to construct a 40,000 square foot building, fenced outside accessory outside storage. Access is proposed off of Commerce Way and Endeavor Circle. And there's a large fenced area to the back of the property for the construction activities, more of pedestrian vehicle parking towards the left and front of the building, and a drive-through portion of the building to the rear. The visual that Andrew has on the screen there showing fire department turning templates to demonstrate that things are accessible for the fire department's ladder truck around the site. And so that is the turning templates on there. The site contains about 344,621 square feet of land. As we had mentioned, outside accessory storage, and 40,000 square foot building. There is some drainage already on the site. We are looking to modify that drainage and have designed a drainage system in accordance with stormwater management regulations. We've conducted percolation tests on the property. There'll be an on-site septic system. We'll be paving the areas outlined for both the parking lots and the equipment storage and material storage in the outside storage area. Served by municipal water. Landscaping is proposed. The site does comply with the parking space standards, both for the dimensional requirements of the spaces and the number of spaces for the proposed use. Site is not located in the Water Resource Protection District. We have a previously existing permit from NHESP, Natural Heritage, that will have to do turtle fencing and monitoring, so this will be wrapped in turtle fence, and we will be conducting monitoring during construction. We did meet with Andrew early on in the project, and we received some feedback that the entrances on Endeavor Circle may not be well received because of the residences over on Endeavor Circle. So the applicants have actually instructed us to go ahead and prepare a different concept for getting rid of those entrances on Endeavor Circle. If it's okay, I'd just like to share the general layout of that with you.
Can you email me a copy, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we believe that this concept will address the feedback that we got. We were able to eliminate the entrances on Endeavor Circle, to eliminate any disruption to the residences or the play area that comes out from one of these entrances. We pulled the building forward a little bit, which works out well because we can lower the grade of the building, and by doing that, we'll have more of a natural uphill slope towards Endeavor Circle, which will provide additional screening from any headlights of vehicles within the parking area. We will add an entrance based on that from Enterprise Drive to make sure that we have an entrance for the trucks that may use this that is more amenable to the slope, or basically not too steep for the trucks accessing the property. And I think that should address the general layout questions and the concerns about those Endeavor Circle entrances. I understand the board does want to send this out for peer review.
Yeah, it's going to need peer review.
Yep. And so, yeah, we're good with all of that, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
All I have to say is I just spent 2 days going over the Brant Rock project. I need a lot more time on this.
Steve, would like to at least, can you ask a few questions? Nothing? You got nothing?
I just think that I'm going to need some time to look at this whole thing.
Yeah. It is nice coming in with a permitted use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, does any other board members have questions?
Do you have an actual proposed use, what you're gonna be putting in there?
The proposed use will be construction industry use with accessory outside storage. I can say that they're negotiating with a tenant, but we're not allowed to say who the tenant is yet, but I understand by the time we meet again, we'll be able to tell you who's occupying the building, hopefully as long as the lease comes together.
All right, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
this industrial
Screening
park's
plans
really
for
coming
the
right along.
outside accessory storage?
I'm
What was
sorry, I didn't
that,
catch that.
Go ahead,
Are there
Ben.
are there screening plans for the outdoor accessory storage?
Yes, everything will be fenced and screened, and we will add landscaping as well to supplement the fencing.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Bob?
What's the height of the stuff that's going to be stored outside? I was just wondering if we're going to, like, I was thinking like Bayside Marine over there, you got, racks out there that are 40 feet tall.
Yes. I can promise that it's not boat storage. Do we have a height on the storage? I
don't,
mean,
but
I'd
we
say,
can get
we can
that.
find out. I'd say we're in the 20-ish foot at the highest is a rough guess, but we can get that answer for you.
So when do we want
The only
to,
other thing that I noted was it's in excess of the thresholds for the traffic study, so it's up to the board, what do you want to do with that?
And Mack and Grover, I have the the plan up on the screen right here, the updated.
That you guys can't see.
We'll be glad to provide a
Yeah, I
traffic
can
study.
Yeah.
I mean, you have ITE data, which is the trip generation program for the use, and it looks like it's plugged in correctly, but I can't tell you what the impact's going to be.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, the applicants were kind of in a rush to get this submitted and before the board and get the review going to satisfy part of the due diligence with their prospective tenant.
Yeah.
They did have a traffic study done, and we will be submitting that with the updated plan.
Awesome. Any other questions? Andrew?
Are you going to sign this to Ed Pesci or Pat Brennan, one of those guys?
Probably Pat, because Ed's moving into retirement this year.
Okay.
From the first glance, it definitely addresses my initial concerns about exiting out onto Endeavor Circle and having it more tailored towards Enterprise Drive and that corner. So it addresses that in and out of the larger commercial vehicles, but also provides an entrance just for the individual parking. So I think it solves all those initial concerns that I had.
She's going to give me a list of questions.
All right, thank you. All right, so any other questions? Steve?
No,
No? So when do we want to extend this to? How much time you guys going to need?
I think they're anxious to keep going. We were thinking 4 weeks if possible.
So
First meeting in April?
April? When's our meeting in April?
It's April 14th.
14th.
Or the
The
28th.
day before tax day. Well, we'll go with 14th, and if we need more time, we'll deal with that then.
That's
All
fine.
right, so I'm going to move that 2615 Zero Commerce Way LLC, located at Zero Commerce Way, be extended until April 14th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve Lynch, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Mike Brothers, aye.
Rob Ramsey, aye.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone.
So do we have any minutes or anything? Are we done?
I haven't touched minutes yet, Brian.
Other business.
Oh,
Scott,
Steve, do you have
I-
some business? This Duxbury thing, or is that old?
So,
Good night.
so I talked to the selectmen, two of them, about this. And they're on board too. They would think we should send a letter to Duxbury and tell them that whatever out of the three plans that they have for bridges, to replace Powder Point Bridge, they should pick one that their beach nourishment trucks can go over and stay out of our school zone. Because those trucks come barreling down Caswell Street, past Governor Winslow School, and then down over to Duxbury Beach, one after the other for months. Let them have their trucks stay in their own town, and not through our school district. And I've had numerous complaints from people I know, not to mention myself, driving down that street and seeing those trucks come barreling down at you. And it's just an accident waiting to happen. If a little kid runs in front of the street, those trucks can't stop. So they should make the bridge that they're building strong enough to handle their trucks for beach
So is
nourishment.
the select board going to write the letter?
So I don't know what they were actually going to do, but they were on board with it. They thought that it was a good idea. So, I don't know, I think we should write a letter, and if they want to write one too, let them.
What's the condition of
That's
the
within
little
our
bridge?
purview.
It's right there, the little bridge that goes over and it's on the Marshfield side?
Is that
So
something?
that bridge
is
we
law?
just redid so that they could do
I
it.
didn't think
We just fixed that bridge so that
I mean,
Duxbury
Andrew
could
could
do.
We're not
beach
the authority for your board isn't, the
Yeah, we don't
selectmen
have-
have the
The
option.
selectmen have the authority.
And I believe like when something like a beach nourishment or something like that happens, the notice goes to our planning board rather than to the zoning board
Right.
of appeals.
Okay.
Well, when the
Is this
prior
area
project,
zone for tolls?
when the prior project was going, we had our trucks and their trucks. So, and what I remember is that
Well, we have control of ours though, Bob, because it has to come in front
We
of
use
us.
the same-
We don't have control of theirs,
we had the same contractor.
yeah.
But I remember back a few years ago, the bridge needed to be shored up in place of, in advance of that work being done. And the select board asked Duxbury to contribute and Plymouth to contribute. Plymouth said no, Duxbury contributed money, I don't remember what they contributed.
Right, I know, we rebuilt that bridge so the trucks could go over.
That's the
I
little
remember.
bridge by the old
That's a
ranch
little
house,
bridge,
right?
by the
Yeah.
ranch house, yeah.
Yeah.
But those trucks still gotta come barreling down,
I live off Webster Street, off of Webster Street, I know.
yeah, and they're going through our school district. And when kids are going, walking down that, I don't know if you've been down there, when kids are coming to and getting out of school, they got a whole line of kids that live right in that area that walk down that sidewalk,
I see them.
that don't get on the bus.
I've seen plenty of videos.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, why should we have their beach nourishment trucks running through our town when they can put them through their own town over their own bridge?
Well, they can't put it over the bridge.
Well, they have three options of, the DOT gave them for bridges that they could choose from. One of them must be able to handle the weight of their trucks, right?
I assume so. I have paid zero attention to the design of their bridge, but I know that their current bridge is closed because of weight limitations.
Right, no, even when it's operational, they can't put those trucks over there, you know,
I
that
wouldn't
have
imagine.
serious weight. So I just think that we should send them a letter telling them that we have a problem with those trucks barreling through our neighborhood and our school district every single spring. I have a problem with it as a resident. So, I mean, I don't know how it could hurt to send them a letter. Or we could send a letter to the selectmen and ask them to send a letter if you don't think we have the authority
I
to do
mean,
it.
honestly, it's the select boards, they're the executive officers.
So why don't we send a letter to the selectmen and ask them to do it then?
You can ask the select board to do it, sure.
I mean, I think they're on, I know, I talked to Trish and Eric, I think they're pretty much on board with it.
Yeah, write it up, Steve. I'm
Okay,
all
I will.
for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You delegate well.
Good job, Steve.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm still trying to get over, you had nothing to say on the zero commerce thing,
No, I did.
I mean, you didn't say anything.
What I have to say is that I have a lot of homework to do.
Oh, all right.
That's what I was saying.
Ducks in a row before he says what he's
Yeah.
And when we're gonna do peer review, we're hiring someone, is that what we're doing?
No, they pay for it.
They pay for it.
We don't pay for peer review.
Engineer
We
that
choose
works
the
in town.
engineer, they pay for it.
And what about planning board comments?
They'll come in because it's in the mixed-use zone.
You're gonna have your own civil engineer, who will go and get a traffic engineer if we have to,
Yeah,
and they'll report to you and they'll pay for it.
but is planning gonna give us, like, you know, like
Their comment.
Karen gave me a whole list of things that she thought were wrong with the Brent Rock project, that, so I could,
They didn't provide us with any comments for this go-around. If any department gives me any comments, I put that in that electronic file for
So
you guys.
can
This is still very early in the
Right.
process, yeah.
Well, it sounds like they're gonna change their whole plan.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have two separate plans.
so we're
there
gonna
to
get
avoid
our
any
planning board to comment on it before we make a decision.
She'll be getting an update of this tomorrow.
She'll get it, and that's, I think it's because they would rush this thing in here, because obviously it looks like they're trying to get an agreement.
Well, that and we were closed for a few days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when I drove down to this industrial park, there's a lot going on. It's really starting to flower now,
Yeah.
after all these years.
So do we have any other business?
Mr. Chairman, there's a flag, hand raised on the, I don't know if it's Diane Jordan,
Is a Zoom, yeah.
Zoom call.
Is someone out there looking to talk?
Diane Jordan.
Yep,
Hello?
yes.
Speak,
Go ahead.
State your name.
state your name.
Hi, can you hear me? Sorry, I'm
Name and
walking my
address,
dog.
please, Diane.
Oh, Diane Jordan, 15 Bancroft.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to comment on the Duxbury Bridge question or conversation.
Sure, go ahead.
At the Board of Public Works, this wasn't a vote, but we discussed the Bay Street Bridge, the little bridge at the ranch house. And we've asked Duxbury trucks not to go over that bridge anymore, because they're done with doing beach nourishment, so they're not supposed to be going over that bridge anymore. So it definitely has had some wear and tear. So I think it's a good idea to work with Duxbury and see that they get a bridge that doesn't have to, so the trucks don't have to use Bay Street Ave Bridge. So,
All right, thank you.
okay, thanks.
I don't understand how
Anything
else
else?
they get this.
Could I ask one quick question? This is Mary Murphy at 2 Ocean Street. And I apologize because I came in at the end, like, after the conversation had started. But, so the disrupt was, the project in Brant Rock has been delayed.
We continued that to the next meeting.
you continued it to the next meeting, and I'm just curious, like, why did the applicant ask for the continuation? It just seems like they have so many experts and pros, and they've had so many, I guess, delays or stalls with respect to the weather, so I'm just curious, like, what was the rationale? I missed that, that was all.
They've only been in front of us once, right?
Yes.
Okay. Once.
Last time,
It's something that we
last
would
one was
normally
continuance.
do for another,
Yep.
really, we've continued, I can't even, ever since I've been on the board, I would say we've continued probably 200 different
At least.
people multiple times. It's just they've only been in front of us once, and the public hasn't even gotten to speak on it. I feel like we asked for some changes, so I think that they should be able to come back and speak to us. I think closing a meeting without giving someone the opportunity to kind of explain what they want to do, and any changes that they made based on our first meeting with them, would be not good for anyone, in my opinion.
Okay, no, and I understand, I was just wondering what the applicant's rationale was, because I do believe the first meeting was in January, and I feel like we've heard a lot of variances or changes as it relates to the plan. So I was just curious, again, I know that there's been a bunch of different experts, if you will, that have been called in, or it looks like they were part of their team, and I was just curious if there was a special rationale for the delay, that's all.
All right, thank you.
Behind the scenes, right?
I think we've had them more than once, though.
No.
No, they've only
Sure.
spoken, they've only
Positive.
spoken
And
once.
when was it?
January.
I have to go back in my records, but it was
They
probably the
have
end of
not come
January.
back
They have
because
not
they're
come
They
back.
supposed
came in one
bring
time
new
before,
information.
just as like an informational thing, but it was not part of their.
Right.
It wasn't part of their presentation.
It was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, since this presentation, we haven't had a meeting again with them. No one spoke on their behalf. All right, so do we have anything else for tonight?
Yeah, Part B of other business.
Discussing regarding potential zoning bylaw to allow
Can I ask
minor-
another question clarifying? I just don't think you answered my question. Like, what was the rationale from the applicant? Was there a rationale, or was this like? I
There
need
was,
more time
they
to
just
answer
asked, they
questions?
asked for a continuance of time to do what they need to do to present. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you. But so, discussion regarding potential zoning bylaw to allow for minor de minimis variances to setback requirements under special permit finding.
So, Bob, are we violating any state law by creating a de minimis variance?
It'll be the easiest place to get a permit in the entire Commonwealth if you allow a de minimis standard.
Is it legal?
Sure, you can make a bylaw that allows your variance standard to be more permissive than what the state law requires.
What we could do to make sure that it's not random is put a mathematical, like, I don't know, 5% or something on it,
Can
you
I
know?
make
You're allowed to have a 5%, 10%.
Well, can I make a suggestion for you?
Sure.
Say we have a 10-foot setback in an R3 zone,
Right.
okay? And you want to be more permissive so we don't get as many variance requests.
Right.
You could allow someone to deviate up to 50% by special permit instead of,
So no variance.
and
Instead of no
then you wouldn't need a variance. I mean, you got to have some setbacks. But you
Right,
gotta
right, no,
remember-
absolutely.
gotta
Like where
remember-
I live, there's, the lots are, 30 by friggin' 50, I mean,
But that's like everything.
Everything is non-conforming.
Well, everything in your neighborhood is non-conforming, and that means if you went to further amend or modify your building, you'd probably only need a special permit because it's probably non-conforming in every respect. So your neighborhood isn't probably good because everybody's like way over in every aspect. But if you go further down by St. Anne's, there are some lots that conform, but the houses don't conform.
Yep.
And maybe you want them to go a little closer to the front, closer to the side, closer to the rear. Usually closer to the rear is not a problem for most people. So maybe you
30 foot.
allow them to go, if you have a 30-foot setback in the R3 zone, maybe you allow them by special permit to go to 20 or 15. I think that's a better way to do it than granting this de minimis thing, which I think is going to lessen your teeth on a project you don't think is appropriate.
So like the last meeting, I voted no against the variance for the person, for the swimming pool who was 4 inches, of whatever it was, 5 inches into the setback by mistake when they built it, right?
Right.
And then the women that wanted the deck that was like 5 feet into the setback.
Yeah.
So there was nothing wrong with letting them have that permit. But if we're gonna go down that slope where we're gonna vote variances that aren't legal,
Well, how are they not legal, Steve?
Well-
Is a variance, Bob, can I ask you a question? Is a variance legal in the state law?
It's provided for in state law.
Okay.
right, but
How are
they
they
didn't meet
illegal?
criteria number 1 of the variance
What was
rules.
the one they didn't meet?
The one of the soil,
Think about the soil shape or topography of the lot.
Right.
In your
It's a very,
opinion.
very
Your
tough
interpretation.
standard.
But that's your
Bob's
opinion.
opinion too. Was Bob's opinion too? I asked him.
Some people would argue that there's never been a case that qualified for a variance.
Absolutely, I agree, but they're the law, they're in the law, and it's our interpretation of the law.
I want to be able to
Individual member
vote
of this
yes
board.
on cases like that.
But kind of
But
why
I-
we
but I-
exist, Steve.
I think that the way to do it is to give you the discretion, whether to approve it or not, by special permit. And
Once
you have
Once we
to,
get on that slope, Bob, we're voting yes on something that's illegal.
you're not.
What's the
if you
excuse?
It's
allow-
not illegal.
It
If
is.
you create a bylaw that the special permit applies to, Steve.
But
They
it's
didn't
not-
meet the first criteria of the
He's,
5
Bob's not
needed.
talking about a variance. He's talking about creating, it's not in here anymore.
So-
We'll have to
so-
put it back in here.
Okay, let's
on
take a different
zoning.
example. R1 district, our
Yep.
biggest lot. You gotta have at least an acre, you gotta have a very large setbacks. You got 2 lots put together, someone wants to build 10 feet into the side setback for whatever purpose. You say, by special permit, the Board of Appeals can grant, Board of Appeals can grant a special permit to allow a 10-foot intrusion into the side setback, provided it meets the special permit criteria.
And it won't.
You know,
Why
you
not?
create the
You
criteria.
create
The special permit would.
That's what we're
is-
talking about.
is-
Then
is,
you get
uh,
away from the variance.
You don't need a variance if you can do it by special permit.
And that would hold up in an appeal, huh?
Absolutely.
By a
It's a
neighbor.
It's what, Steve, it's what the town of Plymouth has done.
That's why we gotta put back
it's
on
what
him
we
our
already
bylaw
did.
review.
It's what we already did just for the
We
extension
can't
and
talk.
alteration of non-conforming structures. We already have we already have a special permit to extend and alter existing
different, though. You're just
non-conforming
throwing-
structures. Yes, and it has 10 criteria and findings that you have to make, right?
Yeah.
So that it would be the same thing with a special permit that you would create for this condition.
The
And you would
criteria.
create findings that you would have to make, that they would have to meet in order for the board to issue that special permit.
Yeah, you
That's a
wouldn't have,
totally
none of the
legal
variance
process.
criteria would even apply.
Yeah.
You could propose a structure, 10 feet into to the rear yard setback. by-
No one's gonna be applying for variances anymore. They're all gonna want that special permit.
Of course.
That's
but
good.
I thought that's what you were
That's
kind of
what you're
looking.
trying to do, right? That's what your goal
Or
is.
you could do nothing.
But then, when we wanna pick and choose and say no to someone,
Could you put something,
how,
language in there?
how is that gonna look?
about
If
No,
we
it's a special
say no
permit,
to
Steve.
some and yes to others?
Well,
Well, that's
some
up
of
to
them
impact.
might be in an area where, so say there's a house, 2 houses next door, they're down on the water somewhere, and the guy across the street says, geez, I don't want you to give them a side yard setback because you're gonna block my view. And if they need a variance, there'd be absolutely no basis to let them get in, but say it didn't block the view, but it partially got into that side setback, you give them a special permit. And then that could actually stand up. I mean, this actually works in Plymouth fine. I think if you start getting into these de minimis and you say this one is de minimis, but this one isn't, you're gonna get sued saying it's arbitrary and capricious.
Well, that's why you put a percentage on it.
But all you're doing with that, to me, you're just moving the goalpost. So why
Right,
wouldn't
that's
be
what we're
some
doing.
type of
We're move- That's the
language-
idea,
Yeah.
but we're not making it so that we get to play God and say yes for you and no for you.
Well,
We're
why
making it
wouldn't
so
you do
that
it
you
by
have to be
right?
within
Say-
these
say
limits.
you think in
But
the
every
R3
case
districts.
potentially is very different, and I think it's worthwhile to actually hear those very small differences and make a determination.
I think
That's why we exist.
sorry, Mac, to cut you off, but it should also be noted, the board has no obligation to issue any special permit request that comes before you. So you can deny any special permit request or any variance request. You're not obligated to issue that. So when you know.
You're obligated
you have
to-
make
you're
it- you have
obligated to
make-
issue it
You
into
have
if
to
it's
make
legal.
decisions on a case-by-case basis, right? And that's up to each individual member to vote however you feel to make that decision that best serves the interest of the bylaw and the purpose of the zoning board of appeals, right? Which is right in the very beginning of our bylaw.
I get that, Andrew, but if you vote no on a special permit that's legal, they will win in an appeal, and we'll have to pay Bob to fight it.
These are like but that's the process, and these are hypotheticals, and, and like, that's the legal process for appeals and the way this thing happens. And really with appeals, we have to make a pretty serious, like, for them to win an actual appeal, we have to do some pretty serious, like, we have to miss procedure of the, like, the legal filing and the hearing dates and all that stuff.
Standard or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, Andrew, if you wouldn't mind, can you put back on the discussion of just general bylaws?
I'll show Steve the bylaw.
Well, I want to be able to discuss the
So I
other,
think
the
you'll
other bylaws that
understand
we
what he
wanted
says.
to discuss, but we can't because it's not on here, so.
I mean, you could just say. you
Just
can
a
allow-
general discussion of bylaws so we can talk about all the ones we want to talk about.
Okay.
I mean, just.
Sounds good.
Well, that's C, rules, zoning board appeals, rules and
Oh,
regulations.
that's our regs.
That's our internal.
That's our
Okay.
1991
We could make it cover.
word processor.
All right,
All right?
okay.
But those are something that I would like to address sooner rather than later, those rules and regulations, especially
Yeah,
because.
so it's on there, so
One
let's
of the
do it at
things
the next
that,
meeting.
and also one of the things that's in the actual bylaw, when it's written in there, how many paper copies they have to submit to the,
Right.
to the board. And I'd really like to start cutting down
Well,
on
if
the
you'd like to go
paper.
in and clean that thing up, we'd all
know.
be happy to hear it.
I mean, I don't know how the digital stuff's working out for you guys to
I love
access
it.
prior to the meetings and everything.
Yeah.
But if we could kind of rely more on that and less on the paper copies,
But do you think we can get a hold of that typewriter that the rules were made up on?
Well, and then if there was a special request to print out something for you guys to have a paper copy, we could certainly ask the applicant to provide some, paper copies, but
Yeah.
we would have minimal paper copies just for the clerk's filing and for our filing, but then the rest of it try to be more digital. But those are some of the things that I've been trying to.
As long as it's up on the big screen. so
Yeah,
we
that's-
can
Yeah.
envision.
And we have it on our,
I'm not gonna change doing that.
yeah, we have it on our computers, we can read it, so.
So is it a violation of open bylaw for us to discuss right now what we want on the next agenda?
No,
No,
of course not.
You can always add a topic for a future discussion.
So I think we should add a topic where we address AUDs in commercial buildings.
ADUs?
You mean the birth
What-
control?
Accessory
ADU?
dwelling
ADU,
units.
yeah.
ADU?
I want to discuss AUDs too.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I think that, when we know we have them, right? We've got them operating in town. So why don't we codify them where if you have a business like a mini mart and you have one apartment in that one building,
It's,
that we make it legal.
it depends on where in town, because there are mixed-use districts where that is legal and we have a special permit.
I think it should be,
process
I think that it should be across the town.
for it. Okay.
But isn't that a planning board decision, not a
Well,
zoning board?
what we want to discuss in general is just what Steve's saying, is what I'm asking for too, for Andrew to put, we had on here, is just general discussion of bylaws. So then we can talk about any bylaw we want to and not be,
Violating
So,
local
you-
law.
so are you thinking like that project on Zero Commerce Way that could have an accessory apartment there?
One,
What would the code?
because we're not, Brant Rock, we're stuck with the Brant Rock overlay where you get 3 per 10,000 square feet, right? Is that what it is? I believe, right?
It's mixed-use zoning.
Right, but we can do that across the town for a single-use apartment in one building that is a commercial building, because we have them. So why not make them legal? Because otherwise, Angelo could run around and write them up.
I think in that building on Zero Commerce Way, though, would there be a building code requirement if you put an apartment on the top of that building, or in the building? Would there be?
Yeah, you're mixing uses, you've got building code, fire separation, also.
Yeah, so they have to comply, that's all. they still have to comply with the building code, you know?
You want people living in an industrial district?
No, but
They're in the
PUD. But we don't want this to continue where we have 3 units per 10,000 square feet. And if we're gonna put something on the agenda, I think we should also put on the agenda addressing the Brant Rock Overlay District, whether or not it should be repealed or continued.
So that's why, so we can have just a general bylaw
discussion,
so then we can pick at anything we want.
any topic
Yeah,
within the
have a general
bylaws.
bylaw.
Well, if Steve didn't put de minimis in here, we could.
All right, I'll add that to the agenda.
Well, we're talking about the agenda.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so,
no, that's-
so I would like to pick, next time agenda, to discuss
I decided to ask Andrew to put general bylaw discussion.
ADUs in commercial
I
buildings.
want to do the ABCs, I want to do XEYs, UDAs, any of those things we're going to discuss. General bylaw discussion, that covers everything.
Right.
That's the Brant Rock overlay.
And then also on there that we're gonna review if we think the Brant Rock Overlay District should be repealed.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all covered in general bylaw discussion. All right. Anything else?
Did a lot.
Anyone? Bueller? All right, make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Steve, I'm sorry.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Jean Lee, aye.
Eric Murphy, aye.
Mac Brothers, aye.
Programs, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.